Kanye West, Chicago dreamer, to global icon, in the heart of the Midwest, in the city of Chicago. A young boy was growing up surrounded by creativity, education, and ambition. That boy was Kanye West, now known to many simply as the one of the most influential, controversial, and innovative figures in modern music and fashion. Born in Chicago in 1977, Kanye was raised by his mother, Donda West, a respected university professor and educator. She was deeply committed to education and believed strongly in her son's potential. Kanye grew up in a household where intellectual discussion, art, and culture were part of everyday life. But even with that academic foundation, Kanye's passion wasn't the classroom. It was music. As a young man, Kanye briefly attended college, but he eventually made a decision that would define his identity forever. He dropped out, ironically, years later. The very institution connected to his artistic world school of the Art Institute of Chicago would award him an honorary degree, recognizing the cultural impact he had already made. But before global fame, Kanye had to grind behind the scenes. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Kanye began producing beats for Roc-A-Fella Records, the powerhouse hip-hop label co-founded by Jay-Z. His sound stood out immediately. At a time when hard street rap dominated hip-hop, Kanye brought something different: soulful samples, emotional melodies, and a refreshing musical style that felt both nostalgic and futuristic. Artists across the label began using his beats. His production helped shape some of the era's biggest records. But Kanye didn't just want to stay behind the boards. He wanted to be the star. Then life took a dramatic turn. In 2002, Kanye survived a near-fatal car accident in Los Angeles. His jaw was severely fractured, and his mouth had to be wired shut. But even in that condition, he recorded a song that would change everything. That album was the College Dropout. Released in 2004, the album became a cultural moment. It blended humor, social commentary, gospel influences, and introspection in a way that hip-hop had rarely seen before. Critics loved it, fans connected with it, and suddenly, Kanye West was no longer just a producer. He was a superstar. The success of the College Dropout opened doors everywhere. Kanye began collaborating with artists across the music industry, delivering production credits and features on major projects. His unique sound became a blueprint for a new generation of hip-hop. When tensions eventually led to changes within Roc-A-Fella, Kanye made a bold move, continuing forward alongside Jay-Z. It was a gamble. It paid off. Over the next decade, Kanye released a string of successful albums and continued shaping the sound of modern music. But music would only be part of the story. In the mid-2000s, Kanye stepped into a completely different industry: fashion. A chance collaboration led to the creation of one of the first celebrity sneaker partnerships in hip-hop. The shoes were groundbreaking. They didn't just sell, they created a cultural movement. And they proved that Kanye's influence could extend far beyond music. As his power in the industry grew, Kanye launched his own label, Good Music. The imprint would become a launching pad for several major artists. Among the names connected to the label were John Legend, Big Sean, Pusha T from Clips, K, and the genre-bending artist Kid Cudi. Many of these artists would go on to shape the sound of modern hip-hop and R&B. Kanye wasn't just building hits. K was building careers. Of course, Kanye's life has always extended beyond the studio. His relationships have often played out in the public eye. At one point, he famously dated model and media personality Amber Rose, who later had a child with rapper Wiz Khalifa. But Kanye's most talked about relationship would come later. His relationship with reality TV star and influencer Kim Kardashian turned into one of the most high-profile celebrity marriages of the decade. Together, they built a family and became constant fixtures in global media headlines. While Kim often maintained a careful public image when discussing family matters, Kanye became known for something very different. He spoke his mind, sometimes with no filter. Over the years, Kanye's outspoken personality has led to intense controversies. Statements made in interviews and online sparked major backlash and caused many companies and collaborators to distance themselves. Sponsors stepped away. Partnerships ended as the headlines grew louder. Yet, even during these moments, Kanye's impact on culture, music, fashion, and art remained undeniable. After leaving Nike, Kanye struck a groundbreaking deal with Adidas. This partnership gave him greater creative control and a much larger share of the profits. The result was the Yeezy sneaker line, one of the most successful collaborations in fashion history. At its peak, the brand generated billions of dollars in revenue and helped make Kanye one of the wealthiest African Americans in the United States. For a time, his sneakers earned him more money than music ever had. Today, Kanye, now widely known as the remains one of the most complex figures in entertainment. His personal life still attracts attention, including his current marriage to Bianca Censori, whose fashion choices frequently generate headlines. While his public statements have often stirred controversy, many fans and critics still acknowledge the creative genius behind his work. From a professor's son in Chicago, to a groundbreaking producer, to a global music icon, to a fashion mogul, the story of Kanye West is one of ambition, risk, controversy, and undeniable creativity. Whether people admire him or criticize him, one thing is clear. His influence on music, fashion, and culture is impossible to ignore. And the story of D is still being written.